Good evening and welcome to Mikey's Morning Coffee. You might be wondering why I'm saying Mikey's Morning Coffee when it's 4:30 and I'm drinking a PBR and not a coffee. It's because my scheduling conflicts didn't work out. I am in partnership with Bridges Scoreboard this year. Very excited to be partnered with Bridges Scoreboard. You'll find me here every Sunday at 10:30 with the exception of week 3 and Christmas week. Obviously week 1 because I'm doing Thursday today, so I couldn't do Sunday. So every week from here on out, I'll be here at Sunday at 10:30, Mikey's Morning Coffee. But today it's Mikey's Evening PBR. I'm in partnership with Bridges this year. I'm very excited for that. Also, this show is sponsored. Mikey's Morning Coffee is sponsored by Pro Elite Window Cleaning. When your windows have a nudge, or when your I messed it up already. When your windows have a smudge, give Pro Elite a nudge. It's a work in progress. It's not really their slogan. They didn't give me anything to plug, so I just kind of made that up. All right, so this is how the show is going to work. Every morning I'm going to be here picking 4 or 5 games, whatever I kind of feel. It's somewhere around 4 or 5 games. I'm not going to get crazy with it. I'm going to break down the games. I'm going to tell you what teams are playing, what the spread is, what the over-under is, what I like to play, where I think the money is going to land, where I think you're going to win money at, and the Overtime Sports Network's tuning in here. You can find me. You can tuning in here on their Twitter page. It looks like. You can watch me live on Twitter. You can watch me live on YouTube. You can watch me live on Facebook. Facebook doesn't appear to be working, but we'll figure that out. And, of course, Twitch, the OTSN Twitch page. I am part of the OTSN Network, the Overtime Sports Network. You can find them on the interwebs at otsportsnetwork.wixsite.com and Instagram and Twitter at _OTSN. So back to how the show's going to work. I'm going to pick about 4 or 5 games every week. I'm going to tell you where you can put your money and where I think the money is going to land. It's either going to be against the spread or over or under. Not heavy on picking favorites unless they're underdogs. Then I'm going to get into a cup of coffee a day parlay. Obviously, I didn't come up with that. That is a term on almost every gambling show. And we'll get into that a little bit more once the cup of coffee a parlay comes up. So I'm going to run through my 4 games. I'm going to do my cup of coffee parlay, talk for a little bit, do a couple more plugs. And then on Sundays, I'm going to have Jeff and Scott come in, and we're going to do a Bridging the Gap segment. We're going to break down the Bears game, and they're going to tell you what their money looks like as far as the Bears game stands. And I'll jump in and tell you what I think about the Bears games. Not a lot of Bears fans are going to like that, but this is a Bears-heavy bar, so we're going to ride with the Bears. We're going to call that segment Bridging the Gap. Again, we're going to start that on Sundays. I don't feel like it's necessary to start that today, seeing how you got all day Friday, all day Saturday, and technically all day Sunday since they don't play till Sunday night. That line's going to move a few more times. That over-under is going to move a few more times. And who knows who gets COVID by then. It doesn't appear Facebook's working, so yeah, the Bears do stink. Kyle Gagliardi tuning in, president of the Overtime Sports Network, the Bears stink. Agreed. I mean, that's just what it is. Now, I'm not telling you if they get 8 points, they're not going to win a game. They're not going to cover a spread. But let's jump right into it. My first game of the week, obviously you got to bet on opening day. This is probably my 3rd favorite day of the year. I mean, you got to go 4th of July, MLB opening day, and NFL opening day, and then followed by NHL opening day. Big Hawks fan. So the first game of the year, first game of the day, first game of Mikey's Morning Coffee. We're talking Cowboys at Bucks. Bucks I think that spreads up to 9.5 today. I got them at -7.5. I got the Bucks at -7.5. Now, I'm not scared of a 9.5 spread for the Buccaneers. This game could get teased up to 9.5, and that's what it wound up being. I think the Buccaneers are going to win this game by 10. The Cowboys are 5-11 against the spread. They're 5-2 when it comes to the over. So I'm going to talk about the 5-2 on the over for a little bit. So when I say they're 5-2 on the over, what I mean is the over is hit 5 of 7 times. So when I say the over is 5 of 2, and same thing with the under. So I'm going to say the Cowboys are over. Their record is 5-2 with the over. Their away straight up record is 2-9. The Cowboys stink. We know who the Cowboys are, and a lot of times in week 1 you're going to get caught up a lot with new quarterbacks, new regimes, new head coaches. Cowboys and the Buccaneers are the same teams. No surprises here. You're looking at the Cowboys at Bucks -8, -7.5. I got them on Wednesday. They're -9.5 now. The Buccaneers are 5-1 against the spread, 8-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread at home. The Buccaneers win this game Tease it all the way up to 9.5 if you want to tease it up to 9.5. Buccaneers minus 7.5 at Mikey's Morning Coffee. Next game I want to talk about is the Chargers minus 1.5 versus the Washington football team. Almost slipped up there. It's been 2 years. So this is where you kind of get tripped up, right? Because the Chargers are a newer team. They got a little bit different of a regime. With Justin Herbert and Eckler over there, they're kind of starting to mesh. They're kind of starting to get together. And then you got Washington. You don't really know what's going on over at Washington, right? So Chargers 4-1 against the spread, 9-4 for the over, 4-1 straight up versus Washington. The Chargers have put together a little streak. Washington 6-2 against the spread, but Washington gets a lot of points, so you can't really take +1 and buy into a 6-2 against the spread. And I'll tell you, the Washington football team is 5-1 when it comes to the over. So you're looking at the Chargers at 9-4 for the over, and you're looking at Washington at 5-1 for the under. So those numbers conflict. So the over or the under trend here. So you want to look at a spread, and I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I like Chargers -1, -1.5, whatever it is today. Take it. Chargers are taking this game. Herbert's going to be the guy over there. Eckler and Allen, he's got weapons. He can manage a Chargers offense and take care of Fitzmagic. Kyle Gagliardi says Cowboys +8, fade the public. I disagree with that because I think the Buccaneers can win this game by 10 points. It's opening day. It's Tom Brady. Gagliardi, nice 0-1 start. Thanks, bud. Next game I want to talk about is the Dolphins at Patriots -2.5. Again, I think this game's up to 3 now, and these are all spreads from Wednesday. This is up to 3 now. Dolphins at Patriots -2.5. The Dolphins 9-3 against the spread, 5-2 straight up away, 7-3 versus New England. I had to throw that one in there. 7-3 versus New England. And then the Patriots sit at 4-1 against the spread week 1. They're pretty good coming out hot. I'm a believer in Mac Jones, and I know Gagliardi's going to jump in the comments here and tell me otherwise. I'm a believer in Mac Jones, and I think the Patriots, you can tease this up to 3.5 if you want. I think the Patriots are going to take care of Tua and the Dolphins. It's a Mac Jones fairy tale, right? So the Patriots didn't look like they were going to quarterback. Bill Belichick just sat there and never made a move and never made a move and never made a move. And Mac Jones just kept falling and kept falling. And then he picked Mac Jones. And then preseason happened. And Belichick saw what he liked. He liked what he saw. He saw what he liked. He said, you know what, Cam Newton, get out of here. I'm not waiting around. Mac Jones is my guy, and we're going to work this year. Give me the Patriots -2.5. My fourth game here. It's not a pretty game. This is not going to be pretty. Jets at Panthers, and the over-under is set at 45.5. When I got it, it's 44 today. It's got even lower. And you'll see a trend here. When I put the spreads on, you know I'm going to do a spread bet. When you put the over-unders in, you know I'm going to do an over-under bet. So my take on Mac Jones is he's a long shot to win MVP this year. If you put $15 on him, I think you win like $3,000. He's a long shot to win. I'm not telling you it's a lock. I'm telling you it might happen. And Gagliardi sits here and says he doesn't hate Mac Jones, just don't think he's going to be great. Kirk Cousins ceiling? Ooh, that's a tough take, Gags. Yeah, I like Packers -4. It actually, so Gagliardi jumps in and says Packers -4. I can throw these up here too. Gagliardi says Packers -4. Pound that, by the way. I like Packers -4, but the 4.5 that the bookies and the sharps are putting out there, that kind of scares me, honestly. If it was higher, I would hammer it. But it seems like people know something about the Saints that the public doesn't know, because that spread is only at -4 and it hasn't moved much. So that game scares me. I'm gonna stay away. If you made me bet it, I would say Packers -4. Take that all day. But I am scared of that game because of such a small number. I think the Packers deserve more respect, and I don't know how Jameis went. So if it was a Drew Brees led Saints team, I would -4. Yep, pound the Packers. But it's Jameis Winston. It's Jameis Winston, Mr. 30 for 30. I don't know how Winston gets picked off 3. That's what I'm saying. It should be like 8.5. And if you want to tease it up, Gags. I would definitely go 5.5, 6.5. Get a touchdown out of it. Back to the Jets and Panthers game. The over-under is set at 45.5. The combined under for these two teams is 12-16. The Jets are 8-4 when it comes to the under, and the Panthers are 4-2 when it comes to the under. Their Jets are 2-4 straight up, and the Panthers are 4-2 against the spread. If you want to look at a spread bet for yourself, I'll throw those out there for you. Again, new teams, new regimes. Zach Wilson on the Jets, Sam Darnold on the Panthers. People are going to say it's a revenge game. We'll see if Sam Darnold can throw it. I know T-Walk was big. T-Walk is Kyle Gagliardi's cousin and co-host on Family Divided Podcast on the Overtime Sports Network. I know he was big on Sam Darnold a few years ago. Obviously, it didn't pan out. And was it the team or was it Sam Darnold? We're going to find out this year because he gets another shot with the Panthers. The under, again, the combined under trend at 12-16. That is outrageous. Now, Sam Darnold does have weapons, CMC, Anderson, and more. If you can't succeed there, those are, I don't want to say they're probably B+ receivers, right? With a C- quarterback. If you can't succeed there, Sam Darnold needs to show you something this year for sure. Obviously, I like the under here at 45.5, and then I'm gonna go ahead and parlay all 4 of these. Let's pray that I do not start off 0-4, as Gagliardi says I'm starting off at least 0-2. We'll see tonight with the Buccaneers game. So that brings us to, turn this off here. That brings us, oh, yikes, wrong one. This one. Sorry about that. Cup of coffee a day parlay. So this is my theory behind the cup of coffee a day parlay, and I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot when I talk about this because I'm going to be at Bridges every Sunday morning drinking a Irish coffee. Kyle already says Terrence Marshall, the rookie from LSU, is good. I mean, Carolina's set up. They have B+ athletes and a C- quarterback again, but we need to see what Sam Darnold's going to do. And I know those are 2 bad teams with mediocre players, and I'm hoping that under is going to hit and sit at 44.5. Gag says I'm going 2-2 for right now. So my cup of coffee a day parlay. So this is how this works. And again, I'm shooting myself in the foot by coming up here every Sunday and buying an Irish coffee. But so what I do all week is I make coffee at home. I save the $2 a day. And by the end of the week, you have $14. Now, that's for the entire year, not just every day. So what I do is I take $2 and I put it on an absolutely outlandish parlay. I like 8 to 12 teams. And it can be anywhere from money line to spread to over-unders to individual bets as far as Tom Brady throws 300 yards or Ezekiel Elliott gets the first touchdown. This is wild stuff like that. So here is, and I'm just going to throw it up there and run right through it. So I like, and I have my notes here, the Titans -3 versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 1-4 against the spread in week 1. Tannehill just got a brand new golden shiny receiver in Julio Jones. The Titans are going to win that game at -3. Bills -6.5 versus Pittsburgh. I like the Bills. I think Josh Allen is an MVP candidate this year. He should be out in week 4 or 5. He should be the number 1 candidate. Bills are 9-2 against the spread. They can cover a touchdown and a half. Jets a touchdown 0.5. Touchdown and a half would be 9, right? Well, it'd be 9.5. The Jets and the Cardinals under. We just talked about that. Now, when I put this parlay together, it did jump up to 45.5. I'm okay with that. The combined under is 12-6. The Jaguars -3 versus Houston. Houston does not have Watson. Tyrod Taylor is not going to be able to hold up against a brand new hot Trevor Lawrence. Houston is 1-5 against the spread also in September with Deshaun Watson. The Chargers -1 versus Washington. Chargers are 4-1 against the spread. Packers -3.5. There you go, Gags. You don't need numbers for this game. Aaron freaking Rodgers is why you go Packers -3.5. Seahawks -2.5 versus Indianapolis. Indianapolis is 1-5 against the spread at home. It's just not going to happen. Gags wants to know if there's anyone eating near me. Yeah, this year there are no excuses for Darnold. Sorry, Gags, I'm getting caught up in my notes, and I'm not coming over here and fraternizing with the fans. No, there are no excuses for Darnold this year. He needs to perform and take his C- up to a B+, get a better deal, get an A+ weapon in there, and then succeed as he needs to. No one's close to me as far as food. Moving on here, Seahawks -2.5. Seahawks -2.5 versus Indianapolis. Just did that one. Pats -3 versus Miami. Again, I am a big Mac Jones believer. Pats are 4-1 against the spread in week 1. Cleveland at Kansas City. I just love big overs and big time games. Cleveland at Kansas City. The over is at 51.5. Kansas City is 5-0 in week 1 when it comes to overs. And then, of course, here's your homer bet. Denver -3 versus the New York Giants. Denver is 4-1 against the spread versus the Giants. That is a plus $60,320. $2 wins you $1,200. That is a decimal and not a comma. So $2 wins you just over $1,200. Again, those are just crazy wild parlays, and they're probably never gonna hit. But hey, Busher, probably never gonna hit. But again, $2 when you're not drinking coffee all week, it's nothing. And that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to throw my weekly bets back up here for a second and run back through those. Again, Bucks -7.5. Tease that all up to 9.5. I know it's at 9.5 right now, so you can't get it. You can't tease it any higher than that. They're going to win by 10. Chargers -1.5. You can tease that up to 2.5 if you want. Dolphins at Patriots. Patriots -2.5. Keep it right there. Don't go crazy with Mackie Jones until he shows you he's a Big Mac. Jets at Panthers. The over/under at 45.5. I wouldn't move that anywhere either. Keep the under. Let's go make a bunch of money this weekend. Gags, you got a lock for me this week as I plug a couple. If I make a couple plugs here. So again, partnership with Bridges Scoreboard this year. They are also in partnership with BetRivers.com. Use code BRIDGES and get up to a $250 match. Partnership with Pro Elite Window Cleaners this year. When you got a smudge, give them a nudge. Again, that's a work in progress. We'll see how they even like that. It doesn't look like Gagliardi's coming back with a teaser, so that's going to wrap it up for me. Again, my name is Mikey Wilson with the Overtime Sports Network. You can find the Overtime Sports Network on the OT. Oh, said Green Bay is my lock. Gagliardi is a huge Green Bay fan. We'll figure that out as we go, and he'll be our guest when the Bears play the Packers this week. You can find the Overtime Sports Network on the otsportsnetwork.wixsite.com/OTSN. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at _OTSN. Pro Elite Windows at I gotta memorize this. Pro Elite Cleaners.com, I think is what it is. And obviously Bridges Scoreboard. Come on in, and I will see you next Sunday at 10:30.